That's my best friend. That's my best friend.
Welcome to episode 1 of r/TIFU. Today I effed up is a community for the donkey in all of us. We all have those moments where we do something ridiculously stupid. Let us make each other feel better about ourselves. Today I effed up by telling a black lady to go to the back of the bus because she'll feel more comfortable there. So this wasn't today but a couple of years ago. I would take the bus to work. My house was close to the bus station, so I would be one of the first people on the bus and I would always sit near the front. The ride was somewhat long, so we picked up quite a few people along the way. There was 2 stops that a lot of people would get on/off. Anyways, on this particular day I was sitting down on one of the bench-style seats next to the pole. So obviously it was a bit tight for me. A black woman came on the bus and she had a big bag. She set it down next to her and then tried to squeeze in between the back and me. Needless to say, it was hard for her to get in. And I literally couldn't scoot over more because of the pole. So then I looked at her and said, "Excuse me, I think you'll be more comfortable in the back." I said this because the back had a lot of space. She looked at me and said, "Excuse me?" She refused to give up trying to squeeze in, so I just stood up. This lady seemed very angry and I didn't want to escalate things. For the rest of the ride she would stare at me very angrily. Later that day I told my buddy about this and he laughs and says, "Well, yeah, you pissed her off. You told her she belongs on the back of the bus. You tried to Rosa Parks her." That had never even occurred to me until he told me that. TLDR, I told a black lady she would feel more comfortable on the back of the bus. This happened a while back. It was a nice sunny day and I wanted to grab myself a coffee before I headed home. I stopped off at McDonald's to order a regular white coffee. When it was ready I grabbed the coffee and grabbed some sugar to sweeten things up a bit. As I got to my table I opened up the lid to pour the sugar in. However, when taking a glance at the coffee it looked really dark. I just assumed the coffee was too strong or something, so I headed back to the register and asked why the coffee was so dark. When I got to the till I showed the cashier the coffee and suggested there might be something wrong with the coffee machine, but she shrugged it off and offered me a new coffee without paying much attention to the one I had in hand. A few minutes later my new coffee was ready, so I grabbed some sugar and headed back to my table. Yet again I took the lid off and thought the coffee was too dark. I was losing my patience at this point, so I went back to the cashier and insisted there must be something wrong with the machine. There I am watching an employee inspect a coffee machine for a good 5 minutes just to say that everything was fine. Yet again they offered me a new coffee, so I took it, headed back to my table and checked it again. It was still dark. Instead of taking it back this time I decided to try it, and to my surprise it tasted fine. Confused I sat there and decided to open my phone. When I turned it on I could barely see the screen. It was then I realized that I had my friggin' sunglasses on this whole time. So I had just wasted 2 perfectly good coffees, 10 minutes of the worker's time, and made a fool of myself. At this point, I was feeling stupid, so I grabbed my coffee and headed out the store as quick as I could. TLDR, coffee looks darker with sunglasses on. Today I effed up by letting my manager know I had sex with her daughter and that I took a pic of her too. So I am currently in the bathroom freaking out. Here's a quick background. Currently, I am a college student interning somewhere local, and it has been about 4 weeks since I have been at this company so far. Last week, I discovered that my manager, the person who hired me, was the mother of a girl I had been sleeping with for a while this year. We last hooked up 3 weeks ago, but haven't talked since. I was pretty shocked when I found out and immediately told a few of my friends in a group chat we have. On top of that, my manager is honestly attractive as hell, especially for her age, and I'm sure she is aware of that. I also haven't been the best employee/intern lately, so things already weren't looking good for me. Fast forward to today, and my hookups with the manager's daughter was brought up again in our group chat. My friends were pretty curious about what my manager looked like, especially because I mentioned that she was doing great for her age, and of course the backstory between me and her daughter happened. She did not have a Facebook, or at least we couldn't find her on that, and her Instagram was private. They asked for a picture, so me being an idiot, I agreed and tried to take a picture of her on my phone. Her table is also right next to mine, which means that I had to discreetly position my phone in a way where it doesn't look like I am taking a picture of her. I'm sure you all know what I mean. I know this sounds stalkerish, but trust me, it was just for the 5 of my friends who were very confusingly interested. So, I found the perfect position and took the picture of her from the side. Of course, the sound of the click goes off, so I panic and quickly move my phone down to make it seem like I wasn't taking a pic of her. My heart was beating faster than ever, but she knew. She looks at me for a few seconds and asks if I was taking a pic of her. I quickly shut that down and say no, it was a selfie. She doesn't believe it and asks for my phone, and I try to delete the pic somehow before giving it to her, but I legit have no time nor any space to do this since she's like right next to me without being suspicious. I hand her my phone in embarrassment, and of course my friend, who is out of the loop, texts, "Didn't you just have sex with daughter's name again?" The notification pops up while she's looking at her side profile pic, and I just want to die. She suddenly gets a Skype call for her meeting, thank God, glares at me, and says, "Delete the picture. We will talk after." And here I am in the bathroom. TL, doctor, sound of click goes off while taking a pic of my manager. She takes the phone and sees the pic and a text message of me having had sex with her daughter. "You're so effed that you might as well ask her if she's down to have sex too." He's can for sure. What have you got to lose at this point?